Hello, hello, everybody. You know, I was looking at the sky. I thought I should buy myself a telescope so I can see the stars and all the planets at night. Has anyone out there ever before bed at night looked at the beautiful stars in the sky? Well, those stars are really beautiful, aren't they? So today we're going to talk about the solar system. Last Monday, you all enjoyed Lauren's story. He talked all about each of the planets and each of their characteristics in the solar system. So today we're going to continue that discussion about how the solar system actually works. We're going to talk about some science today. Are you ready to dive in? All right, let's go. Our solar system. Do you know how many suns are in our solar system? One sun. This thing. It is a big, big sun, and it is really hot. Do you remember how many planets are in our solar system? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 planets are in our solar system. Now, which planet is our home? It's this third planet, planet Earth. Great job. So let's talk a bit about what the solar system looks like. The sun is in the middle of our solar system, and 8 planets orbit around the sun. And if you make sure your screen is full screen, you can probably see this better. So here in the middle, we have our sun, and then orbiting around the sun are those 8 planets. Now, how do those planets stay around the sun and keep moving in that perfect circle? It's a really interesting question. So before we get into that, I want to show you a picture of the sun. And this is an actual picture of what the sun looks like. It is really hot. You see all those flames around it? If you were to put anything on that sun, it would melt immediately. Now, the sun is huge. When you look outside and feel the sun on your skin, it feels nice and warm. But in reality, it's really, really big. So what would the sun look like in terms of size compared to the Earth? I'm going to show you something to give you an idea of what that would look like. See this here? Imagine this ball is the sun, okay? Now, do you have any idea how big planet Earth would be compared to this ball? Any guesses? Check that out. That's how big Earth would be. That is really tiny compared to the sun. Imagine this as Earth, the place where we all live, is this big compared to the sun. The sun is really gigantic. Check out this picture. This is our sun, big and round, and take a look at where Earth is. Earth is just a little black spot on this huge sun. And then the moon is even smaller. I need a magnifying glass to see that. That thing is so small. Our sun is enormous and very powerful. So imagine that big, bright sun in the sky. You might notice that as we walk around Earth, if we were to do something like jump, right? I know a lot of you love to jump and play. Me too. I love jumping. But when you jump, you always come back down to the ground, right? You never jump up and float away into the sky, right? You jump up and come back. Let's think about another example. Whoa, poor coyote. Down he goes. So he didn't fly, I guess. He fell down to the ground. And then another example. Ooh, yikes, that's gotta hurt. So when he jumped, he came tumbling back down to the ground. Now, jumping is one example, but what about this ball? Suppose I took this ball and let go. It falls, right? It doesn't float up in the sky. It doesn't stay in the air. It falls down. But how does it do that? Why does it do that? So I'm wondering, how do we stay on the ground like that? The reason for it is something called gravity. Gravity. That's my sign for gravity. Now I get it. Gravity is something that we can't see. We don't know what it looks like. But what gravity does is holds everything together. So that's why our houses and our cars and our schools, our tables and chairs, and even people who are walking around stay on the ground and they don't float away into space. They stay on Earth. And that's thanks to gravity. Gravity keeps things together. That makes sense. Now, suppose there were no gravity. If just gravity went away altogether, what do you think would happen? Do you think we might float away? Let's see what that might look like. Look at that doggy. So in this space, there's no gravity. So it's bye-bye, doggy. Off he goes. Off he goes into the sky. Wow. Imagine. Now imagine a place with no gravity. What do you think that would look like? Our cars, our houses, everything would just float away. People will be floating in the air. Things wouldn't stay on the ground. Imagine. Interesting. Does anyone know where this is? Look at this astronaut in his white spacesuit walking around. Yep, they're on the moon. Now, the moon has less gravity than here on Earth. The gravity on Earth is very powerful. On the moon, the gravity is a little less powerful. So this astronaut is able to jump really high in the air. That's really cool. Now, suppose we were able to pull a lever and turn off gravity. We'd start to float away. I think it's probably better we stay on the ground. Should we turn off gravity? No, I think it's probably best we stick around here on the ground. So that is gravity. Now, if we think back to the sun, remember, the sun is huge. And the gravitational pull on the sun is very powerful. So powerful, it can pull 8 planets to stay close to it and to orbit around the sun. Now, let's imagine the sun were smaller than it is. Do you think the sun would be powerful enough to hold 8 planets to spin around it? Let's think about it. Probably not. I think the other planets would probably float away, maybe find another stronger sun to attach to or to orbit around, right? So we have our big sun with its strong gravitational pull, and then we have Earth, which also has strong gravity. It keeps people and houses and cars on it. Now, next to the Earth, we have something else. So remember, the Earth rotates around the sun. The sun uses its gravitational pull to keep Earth rotating around it. Now, the Earth also has its moon. The Earth has gravity that it uses to keep the moon rotating around it. So the gravity of the Earth keeps the moon close to it. Take a look at this. This thing rotating around the Earth in the middle is the moon. So the Earth uses gravity to pull the moon close to it as it orbits around the Earth. You know, sometimes when you're looking outside at night, looking at the beautiful stars, you might notice the moon looks a little different sometimes. Sometimes you might see a crescent moon, sometimes a half moon, and then sometimes a big, bright, full moon. Does that mean it's a different moon every time? No, it's the same moon, but why does it look so different in the sky sometimes, depending on the night? Let me talk to you a bit about that. So, the moon rotates around the Earth, and as it moves around the Earth, the sun shines on the moon in a different way. So as the moon orbits around the Earth, you see why, depending on the angle to the sun, it might look different. At this point, it almost looks like a full moon. And then as the moon rotates around the Earth, let me give you another look at this. So during the first phases of the moon is really hard to see. Maybe just a sliver of light reflects off the moon. And then as it rotates around the Earth, half of the moon is covered in light. And then as it continues to orbit around the Earth, we see a full moon. The entire surface of the moon is covered in light, looking like a big full moon. And then it goes back to the other half. We see half of the moon. Well, the half from before is now dark. And then as it rotates around, it almost looks like there's no moon there at all. So every month, the moon goes through cycles. We see a little bit of the moon to all of the moon, and then back to a very small sliver of the moon. Those are the phases of the moon that change over the course of 1 month. And the Earth uses gravity to pull the moon close to it, so it orbits around Earth. Wow, gravity is really powerful. Imagine a world without gravity. We'd just all be flying away. Gravity helps us stay on the ground and keeps things together. The sun is so big with such a strong gravitational pull, it can keep 8 planets orbiting around it. And that makes up our solar system. Cool, huh? So now that we've talked a bit about gravity, I hope you enjoyed that. Now I bet some of you are ready to explore space yourselves, maybe to go to the moon, or just grab a telescope and look in the sky and see what you can find and learn more about our solar system. Great. Well, thank you. See you all next week. I hope you all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.